To my sisters and my mom.
Ay, mucho gusto. Ramón González.
Yo creo que la conocí el año pasado, ¿verdad?
Sí, vino una de mis
de
clases.
la clase, sí, bienvenida otra vez, sí. Pues ya se va. Y pues, a ver si vienen las hermanitas, ¿no? ¿Eh? Hay que empujarlas, María.
De eso se trata. Ya. Todavía no, ¿verdad?
No, wait un momento.
Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Good morning again. My name is Dr. Jelena. I am the instructor of the capstone, and welcome to the festival. Our next presenter is Lucia. Look at me.
Me cambié el nombre.
I am. Oh, you know, she's going to be in it. This is Maria Guadalupe Figueroa. And I have a problem. We call her Lupe. And every time they are sending any mail, she has a is your cousin, yeah? What is this? Maria G? Uh-huh. Always send the mail to Maria G, thinking that she's Guadalupe. All with an accent. I am not Lupe. You are sending the wrong one. And I say,
I never get the messages.
you know, and she never got the message. No, so welcome to her presentation, what is very interesting to all of us because it's about mentorship. Okay.
Omete. Buenos días. Good morning. Cuando era pequeña, mis padres siempre me decían que tenía que marcar un buen ejemplo para mis hermanas. Que de la misma manera en que yo aprendía su cultura y tradiciones, mis hermanos aprendían de mi comportamiento. En ese momento yo era demasiado joven para entender lo que ellos me decían. Sin embargo, notaba que ejercía una gran influencia en mis hermanos. Ellos frecuentemente se interesaban por mis cosas y querían imitarme. As a little girl, I remember my parents telling me to set up a good example for my little brothers and sisters, because at the same way that I was learning from them cultural behaviors and cultural practices, my brothers were learning from me and my sisters. At that moment, I didn't understand what they were saying because I was really young, but I was able to recognize the influence that I had over my little siblings. Within the pass of time, I have noticed that the interpersonal relationships we develop with specific individuals are the ones that determine the path that we decide to follow in our lives. De esta manera, las relaciones que desarrollamos con personas nos dirigen o nos guían a seguir un camino específico en la vida, ya sea dentro de la educación o dentro de la familia. El tema de mi capstone es culturas y tradiciones moldeando al mentor. Cultures and traditions giving a different perspective of mentorship. The main objectives of my capstone are three. To do an analysis of the concept of mentor from a cultural perspective, to identify the obstacles that obstruct the relationship between a mentor and the prodigy to be successful, and to record the personal testimonies of different students in their academics to create a digital story in the future. Los objetivos principales de mi presentación es analizar el concepto de mentor desde el punto de la literatura, identificar los obstáculos que obstruyen la relación de mentor y protegido y crear una historia digital en el futuro con la recopilación de los testimonios de lucha y de superación de estudiantes que son primeros en su familia en asistir a la universidad. Mi investigación se basó siguiendo la visión de la universidad que declara que este campus estará dedicado a servir a la diferente gente de California, especialmente la clase obrera y de bajos niveles económicos y académicos. por esta razón decidí entrevistar a diferentes estudiantes del programa de Facultad y Mentoría, puesto que ellos son primeras generaciones universitarias. Esto significa que son las primeras personas en su familia en asistir a la universidad y por consiguiente no tienen un mentor académico en su familia que les diga cómo va a ser lo que va a pasar en la universidad, las experiencias que van a vivir y cómo lograr sus objetivos académicos. I was just saying that I decided to follow what is stated in the university vision statement that says that the university will be dedicated to serve the diverse people of California, especially the underrepresented, undereducated populations. And I decided to conduct different interviews with the students and mentors from the faculty mentor program, since these students are part of the vision statement. And most of them are first generation college students. This means that they can't rely on a mentor in their family, since they are the first persons to pursue a college career. Therefore, they face more obstacles than those students who are not first generation college students. So I base my investigation mostly in these interviews. I was following the vision statement of serving the diverse people of California, especially the Monterey, the Santa Cruz, San Benito. I was supposed to direct interviews with Asian students, with African American students, and with Latino students. But due to the fact that Latino students have the highest percentage of enrollment in the university, I concentrated my investigation in this particular group. Tenía que entrevistar estudiantes de asiáticos, afroamericanos y latinos, puesto que estos constituyen los grupos minoritarios más importantes en los condados de Monterrey, Santa Cruz y San Benito, y esto es lo que aparece en la visión de la universidad, que era mi guía para conducir la investigación. Pero dadas las circunstancias de que el grupo de latinos es el grupo más amplio que asiste a esta universidad, mis entrevistas se vieron limitadas a estudiar este particular grupo de estudiantes, puesto que los otros cuentan con un número muy corto en cuanto a asistencia en este campus. Dentro de la literatura, el concepto de mentor aparece principalmente en la mitología griega del poeta Homero, la Odisea. También vemos representaciones del concepto de mentor en El Señor de los Anillos, o The Lord of the Rings, y en las prácticas culturales de las familias. In literature, the concept of mentor appears primarily in the Odyssey of the Greek poet Homer. And here, the mentor is a person who guides the son of the king throughout the story to help him to develop his manhood and his identity to later on life take charge of the country. And at the same time, this person, the mentor, appears as the goddess of wisdom, Atenea. This means the mentor is both, is female and is male at the same time. So somehow it brings a duality between both sexes and mentors both people, trying to cover as much as this person can. So, el concepto de mentor en la literatura aparece en la mitología griega del poeta Homero y explica que el mentor aparece en una dualidad de hombre y mujer con un amigo del rey que guía a su hijo, al hijo del rey, para que pueda sobrevivir hasta el regreso de su padre. Y también el mentor aparece como la diosa de la sabiduría, Atenea, para de esta manera hacer una dualidad entre lo masculino y lo femenino, entre lo divino y lo humano, para crear un tipo de conexión y guía de los protegidos o de las personas más jóvenes que aparecen en la historia. En las prácticas culturales, nosotros contamos con un mentor, pero la mayoría de los casos no lo reconocemos como tal, porque son tipo de mentoría muy informal. Por ejemplo, en las familias latinas que entrevisté, los estudiantes me dijeron que sus padres son sus principales mentores. Aunque ellos no utilizaron esta palabra, todas las descripciones que hacían de su persona era de un mentor, de alguien que los guiaba, que les daba consejos, que los educaba y les daba las opciones que podría dirigirlos a tomar decisiones que les permitieran lograr sus metas personales y académicas. Y en las prácticas culturales también encontré los obstáculos mayores que se encuentran al momento de ofrecer mentoría académica a los estudiantes. Whether we recognize a mentor or not, we always have this person in our lives. In our family, always our parents teach us and give us different advices that will guide us through our lives, either in the academic arena or in their personal lives. So whether we recognize the person as a mentor or not, we have this person guiding us, because that's the main role of the mentor, to guide someone else and to give them advices and to open doors to different options later on in life, in the academic arena, in the work arena, and in their personal lives. And this concept appears in different cultures. Like, for example, in Japanese culture, they have the image of a senpai. There is a person who guides the other people. And in some of the indigenous cultures in America, they have this person is a lady that is called Cihuatlamatini, which means a wise woman who transmits the knowledge to the younger people, to the younger ladies. And in the cultura tolteca, in the Toltec culture, they have the concept of a nahual, which is a master and also a person that transmits knowledge to others. So as we can see, this mentor appears in different cultures. It's just they have a different name for it, or you have a different way to perceive this person in our lives. Some of the most the image of mentor continues being perpetrated in the media, and some of the images that we can find is in El Señor de los Anillos and the Lord of the Rings, with this person is Gandalf, and in Star Wars we have Yoda, who is the mentor as well. So cuando vean estas películas se pueden dar cuenta que el papel que cumplen estos personajes es de guiar y de proveer un tipo de asistencia a las personas más jóvenes que aparecen en la historia. Y también en los dibujos animados, los niños siempre tienen una imagen de un mentor. Y esta imagen aparece siempre en los dibujos animados, así que les pido que presten atención. Like, another image of him is Sasu in The Lion King, and this is the image that little kids get. And they continue receiving this information from the concept of a mentor. Now, we have different mentors and the different images. However, a mentor has been perpetrated from a patriarchal point of view, because most of the times a mentor appears as a male who guides other people, leaving out the concept of Atenea and the concept of women in the cultures. Entonces el concepto de mentor deja fuera la participación femenina, porque la imagen que perpetúa es desde un punto de vista patriarcal, porque siempre se presenta un varón que es el que guía y el que instruye a los jóvenes, sean hombres o mujeres. De esta manera me interesó buscar los obstáculos que obstruyen la relación entre mentor y protegido. Dadas las circunstancias de que las funciones de mentor son diversas, un mentor es muy amplio de explicar y tiene muchas facetas. Un mentor es un maestro. A mentor could be a teacher, un patrocinador, a sponsor, un anfitrión y guía, un host and guide, un ejemplar y un amigo. El concepto del amigo es el más importante en las entrevistas que conduje, puesto que los estudiantes siempre dijeron que la imagen de mentor que ellos tienen no es una persona con mucha autoridad, sino un amigo que se interese por su experiencia cultural, académica y económica, que sea capaz de guiarlos y de entender su perspectiva. De esta manera, el concepto cultural juega un papel muy importante para el desarrollo exitoso de mentoría. These are just the different roles that a mentor plays. And this, I was just explaining that the mentor has different roles as a teacher, as a sponsor, as a host and guide, and as an example because of all these different reasons. And a mentor doesn't necessarily need to play all these roles at the same time, but sometimes they overlap with each other. And this is when we get the concept of informal mentorship. For example, like when you go to school and you ask a friend about certain classes or certain professors to enroll in these classes, you receive some type of informal mentor because you're getting information that will lead you to take right or courses that will help you in your academics. And for the interviews that I conducted, the cultural aspect was really important for the mentorship relationships to be successful, because a lot of the students mentioned that the image that they have of a mentor is a friend who is willing to understand and see their cultural, academics, and economic perspective due to the fact that in the Latino population, the concept of family is one of the most important ones. So for these students, having to go to college means to break a family connection, and this creates a lot of problems within the family and within the student because they don't know how to deal with this new lifestyle, and they always try to keep in connection with their families. Therefore, they try to go home every weekend and they call their parents constantly, and there's a point where the students start acculturating themselves to the academic arena. And when they go back home, they can assimilate with their parents anymore because they have different ideas and they have different experiences. So that's why it's really difficult for them to receive mentorship, because at one point, the mentorship that they are getting has a perspective that doesn't necessarily understand the cultural and the economic experience of these first-generation college students. So that creates a lot of tension, and sometimes the students doesn't want to meet with the mentors anymore, dealing to the failure of the relationship. Estaba explicando que el concepto de la familia es uno de los conceptos más importantes para los estudiantes cuando van a la universidad. El hecho de que tienen que romper con esta norma familiar de irse a la universidad significa que los padres se separan de los hijos, y es muy difícil porque no es culturalmente aceptado, y ellos intentan regresar a su casa lo más frecuentemente posible y llamar por teléfono, y llega a un punto donde la tensión se crea tan fuerte que se empiezan a desconectar los padres de los hijos, porque los hijos empiezan a ver perspectivas distintas que los padres no entienden porque no han vivido esa experiencia en la universidad. Entonces, cuando los hijos regresan a casa con ideas nuevas, crean conflictos porque están a diferentes niveles, no están en la misma etapa, en el mismo proceso de aprendizaje. Entonces, siendo que la familia es muy importante y los hijos están cambiando y los padres están cambiando, crea una desconexión y puede guiar a que mucha presión para los estudiantes de que tienen que hacer lo mejor posible porque están marcando una línea que van a seguir las personas que vienen atrás, las otras generaciones. Y a la vez, esa tensión que crea es posible que los guíe a tomar la decisión de salirse de la escuela porque están desconectándose tanto que no se sienten cómodos en este nuevo estilo de vida y necesitan regresar y necesitan estar con sus familias para aceptarse. Así que tienen doble trabajo, y cuando el mentor no entiende este concepto, no los puede guiar académicamente, no les puede explicar cómo adaptarse al nuevo ambiente porque ellos no lo conocen y no entienden esa perspectiva. Entonces, cuando no hay una conexión entre mentor y protegido, la relación simplemente no funciona. Y muchas veces, aunque el estudiante sea de la misma y el mentor sean de la misma grupo étnico, no significa que tienen las mismas experiencias. Entonces, hay que expandir mucho, y es gran parte de la perspectiva que el protegido tiene del mentor, de lo que es un mentor, y lo que el mentor quiere hacer con su protegido. De manera que tienen que trabajar mutuamente para que la relación funcione. Los obstáculos que identifiqué fueron de género, de edad, de identidad cultural y de nivel económico. These were some of the obstacles that I was exploring to see if the fact that the mentor and the mentee were from a different gender created some type of tension in between the relationship, but surprisingly it didn't happen. Gender is not a main factor as cultural identity and as a family, economic, and educational background. Because if the mentor doesn't understand this concept, the mentor cannot connect with the mentee. Therefore, the type of mentorship that can provide to this person is not useful for the student and create some type of misinterpretation within the relationship and it ended up to a not successful relationship of mentoring. Las habilidades que necesita un mentor poseer para el éxito de la mentoría son principalmente tres. Tener una gran capacidad de escuchar. Una gran capacidad de escuchar, ¿por qué? Porque necesita saber lo que el estudiante necesita. Necesita saber lo que el estudiante busca, cuáles son sus metas y cuáles son los obstáculos que impiden que siga estas metas. It's really important for the mentor to have a really good ability to listen to the student, because if the mentor don't listen to the student, there's no way for this person to know what the obstacles that the student is facing and what are the goals that the student wants to accomplish. And therefore, it might lead the mentor to impose some of the ideas that he has and the beliefs in the mentee. So that's why it's really important to listen to where the student is coming from. That way you will understand, or the mentor will understand, the cultural and the academic and economic perspective of the mentee. And also, una capacidad empática que le permita entender la cultura del estudiante. Más que ser del mismo grupo étnico, o de la misma edad, o del mismo género, el hecho de entender culturas distintas que tienen diferentes maneras de expresarse. Por ejemplo, el respeto es muy importante para los estudiantes que entrevisté. Y ellos dijeron que muchas veces no expresan sus emociones o sus preguntas a los mentores porque tienen mucho respeto por los adultos y no los quieren contradecir. Entonces, si el mentor no puede tener esa capacidad empática de entender la cultura del estudiante, no puede entender tampoco su manera de comunicarse. Muchas veces se comunica a través de un lenguaje corporal, a través de diferentes maneras de rechazar una idea sin decirlo ampliamente. Entonces, el estudiante no expresa sus emociones ni sus ideas y no pueden comunicarse correctamente. And the empathic ability allows the mentor to understand his cultural, the way that he presents himself or herself culturally, and the way that they transmit their ideas or their concerns to the mentor. Because many times for the students that I interview, respect for adult people is really important. Therefore, when they have a concern or when they don't agree with an idea that the mentor is presenting, instead of like telling the mentor that they don't agree or they don't accept that idea, they tend to express that with like different type of body language, trying to let the mentor know that they don't agree with the suggestions that they are presenting. And if the mentor doesn't have the ability to understand that type of language, that type of communication, because it's from a different culture, they can communicate, and it's more hard and more difficult for both parties to develop a successful relationship. And the third one is capacidad crítica, que el mentor tiene que ser capaz de marcar los puntos de fuerza del estudiante, tanto como las debilidades, de decirle en cuáles áreas necesita desarrollarse más y en cuáles áreas necesita trabajar. Y otra vez entra el sistema o las prácticas culturales, de que para los estudiantes latinos que entrevisté, cuando se les da una crítica, la forma en que la reciben es distinta que la forma como la reciben estudiantes de otros grupos étnicos. Están más abiertos a crítica mutua y están más expuestos a este tipo de prácticas culturales. Entonces, the ability to critique the students and to provide feedback is really important, because the mentor needs to point out the strengths and the weaknesses of the student for this person to develop them or to work with them. And once again, the cultural practices and the different types of communicating your emotions or your ideas it varies from different cultures or from different people. And from the students that I interviewed, the Latino students from the faculty mentor program, they mentioned that respect is a very important concept, and they follow that with any relationship that they have with an older person. So whenever they don't agree with something that they're saying, once again, they try to express it in a different way. So if the mentor needs to combine out these three abilities to make a good relationship with the mentor, with the mentee. And my conclusions are the following ones. First, that academic mentoring is one of the keys for the retention of students at the university. The second one is that not all of the students need the same type of mentoring due to their academic, economic, and cultural background. And the mentors need to take consideration of all 3Ds components in order to develop successful relationships. Entonces, las conclusiones son que el mentor académico, la mentoría académica es una clave fundamental para el desarrollo y la retención de los estudiantes en la universidad. Que no todos los estudiantes necesitan el mismo tipo de mentoría. La experiencia que vive un estudiante que es primera generación en ir a la universidad con la experiencia que vive un estudiante que no es primera generación varía mucho, y esto también hace variar el tipo de necesidad de mentoría o de asistencia que el estudiante requiere. Y los mentores necesitan tomar todo este tipo de diferencias culturales y de diferencias, diferentes prácticas culturales y educación y de la economía del estudiante, que muchas veces deciden trabajar para ayudar a sus padres en vez de ir a la universidad. Entonces crea un tipo de obstáculo también. Y si el mentor es capaz de reconocer estos 3 puntos, puede empezar a desarrollar y a expandir su relación con el estudiante y de esta manera retenerlos en la universidad y puedan lograr sus metas académicas y personales. Y es todo. Gracias.
I don't know if you have some question. I want to tell you that I have, during all this year, I have granddaughters, daughters, son, nephew. She's one of my daughters. You know, I have always a series of daughter and granddaughter and everything, and she's one of my daughter, one of the close one. And you have any question for her, please?
Actually, it's not a question. I'm asking for advice. I will be a mentor, a faculty member, mentor next semester, and I would like to hear from you. What advice would you give me to deal with mentors? Because I'm not dealing directly with students, but I will be dealing with somebody like you. What sort of advice would you give me so I can be successful in that role?
Yes. I was working as a peer mentor last semester, and one of the most useful activities that we did with my other peers was that we will give feedback with each other. We will meet like every month or every other week to give feedback on the things that are being useful in our relationships and how we are approaching the students and how are we transmitting the information that we have to help them in their academics. And sometimes in just having a conversation with a mentor and seeing what are the things that are being useful for the relationship helps me, because this other mentor might be facing a similar situation. And they try different techniques, like just giving time to the students, for the students to look for the mentor, or approaching them more and try to ask them if they have a problem or if they're doing good in school, and always try to keep that communication with each other, because that's the best way to develop, and also be aware of the different situations, that don't compare one student with the other, and don't compare and fall into the assumptions that all the students face the same obstacles or that they pursue the same goals.
How many mentees did you interview for your study?
I interviewed 10 mentees and 3 mentors. One of them was the director of the program, and the other ones were faculty mentors.
You mentioned earlier in your presentation that the women's mentee has traditionally not been, at least in the icons of literature or culture there. Is that changing now, besides in the familial, the senses, or do you see, as you see the mass culture movies, like you showed Yoda and the Lord of the Rings, are there women mentors now that are more accepted through mass pop culture or literature that you?
I believe that there are some. There are mentors, like for example in the movie Pocahontas, remember the trees, an old lady, and is the person where Pocahontas go to get advice from this person to make decisions in her life. And there's another one. So like if we study the literature, we always like find different type of women mentors. Like for example, with Isabel Allende, we have Eva Luna. And Eva Luna has a lot of mentors in her life. He has her mother. When she dies, she always came back and gave advice to Eva Luna. And also she has like people that work really close with her and always is giving her advice and guiding the Eva Luna throughout her life. And that image is being developed and appears. It exists and it appears in literature and in movies and in different scenarios, like in the school. It's just that it's not receiving a lot of attention, or the concept of mentor doesn't have the perspective of a female. Rather, it has a perspective of having a mentor as a male perspective, as portraying the image. Excuse me?
Xena was a
Xena.
mentor for the young girl.
Uh-huh.
Well, the reason I also mention this is traditionally in literature you have the novela de aprendizaje,
Mm-hmm.
and there's usually a mentor-mentee relationship. And in Chicano literature, one of the most, contemporary is Última and Blessing Última.
Mm-hmm.
She certainly fits the mold that you're sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.